sure that I'm all yours. And when I feel insecure, I know that you're the cure. With you, forgetting is easy. That everything around me may be turning upside down. You teach me to stay to the ground. I know that I can't be bound, 'cause in you I can't be found. And the moment that I realize that I don't have to fight, just lean into your love, that's life. 'Cause I know it was already mine. 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 So pure. It's what I've been waiting for. And the more that I explore, it leaves me wanting more. With you, forgetting is easy. That everything around me may be turning upside down. You teach me to stay to the ground. I know that I can't be bound, 'cause in you I can't be found. And the moment that I realize that I don't have to fight, just lean into your love, that's life. 'Cause I know it was already mine. Already mine. Already mine. Already mine. Already mine. Already, already. Already mine. Already, already. Already mine. Already, already. Already mine.
And welcome to the Petty Murphy Project here on Facebook Watch and YouTube, sponsored by Ultimate Ladder. Yes, I am back. I'm exhausted, as y'all can tell. It was a very great day weekend in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Laugh Now Smoke Later 420 event. Sioux Falls acknowledged me as Sioux Falls wants me to come back, and we are working on that, and there will be more details to come, everybody. But today, here on the Petty Murphy Project, my guest is none other than music artist Brandiwyne here on the Petty Murphy Project. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, even though the face of exhaustion, you can see it. I am on cloud nine. Thank you for coming onto the Petty Murphy Project. And I do a lot of interviews with music artists from all over the country. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people watching here live.
Great. Well, if you don't know me, I go by the name Brandiwyne. My actual name is Brandy, so kind of fits. I am a pop rock singer from the Seattle, Washington area, and playing all over right now. We're doing some national releases and just having a good time, having fun.
Now, that is awesome because you are the first artist that I have talked to in the Pacific Northwest and its significance in music history when it comes to artists out of Seattle. Jimi Hendrix, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Macklemore. Now you're a part of that lineage. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest and knowing about those names, especially like Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl and Jimi Hendrix and Macklemore and artists from up there. What influence did that have into what your career is now?
Oh goodness. So much. And actually I've gotten to meet and work with a few people from this area. Um, one of which was on a previous song. We had the guitarist from Heart, who actually is also in this area. He did a project with us. Um, it's a lot to live up to, and it puts a lot of pressure. I'm not going to lie. We've had so many amazing artists come out of this area, and it's really a legacy for rock and for grunge and alternative music. So when you try to get into that era with your own music, it can be quite intimidating. But thankfully, everyone here is pretty welcoming and friendly and loving, and it makes it a really great experience.
Absolutely. And how long have you been on this journey?
Technically or formally?
Both.
So I started with music probably when I was around 5 years old. Um, Entered my first songwriting competition at around the age of 7. And it kind of just blossomed from there. I took up any form of music I could get my hands on, whether it was playing classical violin, orchestra, chamber strings. I was in show choir, kind of like you see on that whole Glee show. And yes, they really are that dorky, but it was fun, so it's okay. Um, so yeah, it just the whole time. I started with trying to find myself in music around the age of 19 or 20. I was in a band called the Scrapes back when I lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and
Okay.
we did pretty well. We did some festivals, we played around, and then we broke up because I ended up moving to LA, and then later here to Seattle.
Okay. So you have quite a journey. And in your journey, because a lot of artists, comedians, anybody that has a purpose in life, you're going to go through some trials and tribulations in your journey. What has this journey that you've been on, how has it kept you mental and how does it affect you at some times and how are you able to bounce back?
Well, music is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Thankfully, I was told by someone before it's like a medicine, and for me, that's definitely true. So whenever I have a hardship, that's something I turn to is my writing or performing. For those who do know me, they know I'm a self-proclaimed karaoke addict. If I'm having a hard day, I will go have a drink with friends and goof off on stage. It doesn't matter to me if I'm getting paid or if it's just my stress relief. So, although the latter is always better, but
Right.
so but you do what you got to for your mental health. Um, you have to get used to hearing the word no a lot, and unfortunately, growing up, part of my platform is taking a stand against domestic violence and bullying. Um,
Hmm.
Bullies grow up to be bigger bullies, and they're
That,
everywhere. So you even run into them in the music industry. So I've had to deal with that a little bit, and that can be discouraging. But if you have a really good social network around you, especially if you make friends with other musicians who know what it's like and can be there to really understand and support you, that helps you get back up on your feet. So that's been super important to me.
definitely. And I know you mentioned about the bullies in the music game. With you being a female, should there be more empowerment, more females coming together instead of being in competition with one another, not only in music but in general?
Absolutely. I believe that as women, we have enough challenges on our own. The whole body dysmorphia and what society expects us to be and or give. A female artist is expected to dress and act a certain way. We are often talked down to when it comes to some people in the field for management or booking because they feel we're easier to kind of push around or intimidate. Um, and there's just enough hate and enough people with their superiority trips. Women really need to learn to bond and to stick together. Stop worrying about what we have different and worry about what we have that's the same. And that doesn't matter if you're black, white, natural born, transitioned, whatever. If you identify as a female, we need to stick together and we need to be there for one another.
Amen. That is truth right there, everyone. That is true. Now, how did you come up with your stage name? How did you come up with Brandy Wine? How'd you come up with that?
So when I was about 21, 22, somewhere in there, I started doing some smaller little side projects, messing around with parodies, things like that. And I wanted to do something that was a play off of my name. So the brandy obviously is the first part, and then I
Hmm.
always just thought the wine aspect would be cool. It was kind of classy, but the spelling I wanted to be unique. So I had chosen to go with the Wyne, which ended up being a little detrimental because a lot of people mispronounce it and call it Brandiwyne. But that's
Hmm.
okay. I usually answer to whatever, even hey you hi. So but the real inspiration behind that was because I liked going to vineyards and the wineries and stuff like that. And so it's like I'll kind of incorporate those two little passions and see what comes of it. I have heard the occasional joke about it being a stripper name, but I promise I don't know how to dance, so sorry. There's nothing in that field.
Oh man, that is awesome. And I'm gonna ask you this. When you're not on the road, you're not on the stage, how do you keep your creative mind going? How what are the things that you do to keep your creative mind going to basically know, all right, now I'm not doing anything, but I need something to basically put paint to the canvas. So what do you do when you're not on that stage, you're not doing music? How do you keep your creative juices flowing?
By trying to stay open-minded and saying yes to as many activities and or exposures as I can. People really are the base for my songwriting and my creativity. So I like to volunteer with different nonprofits, or like just a couple nights ago, I helped out a friend that was throwing a Venice is Sinking masquerade ball. So you get to meet a lot of interesting people that way. I'll try different activities. I've taken flying trapeze. I've done, snorkeling, surfboarding. I just try to keep my experiences as varied as possible. So then I also can meet as many different people as possible. Because again, that's where the inspiration really ends up lying, is through the stories and the experiences that I share with those people.
That is true. And that's why we always say network is your network.
Yeah.
And you've gone from Cleveland to
Yes.
LA. What was the LA experience like? Because a lot of people have dreams and big dreams of going to Hollywood, but as you see, nobody goes to a P Diddy party. Just say no. We all that. But with your struggle, when you go to LA, everybody knows you're going to struggle. What did you have to go through while being in LA?
LA is a very difficult market to break into. I did a lot of studio work while I was there. I did a couple smaller shows, but for the most part, it was just taking guitar lessons and learning and going to shows and learning from the experiences of attending those concerts, because you do get a lot of exposure and you can learn a lot from being there. It is next to Tennessee, Nashville, probably one of the most competitive and cutthroat areas, though. A lot of people, they will introduce themselves by, hi, my name is, this is what I do, what can you do for me? So you have to be prepared for that. um, yeah, all in all, I when I decided it was time to have a family, it wasn't the right place for me to stay. I know some people thrive there, but I want people, when you smile at them walking down the street, to smile back, not wonder if you're crazy. So
There you go. And that's mostly people in LA. Now, the journey from LA to Seattle, and it seems like it's brought you a lot of happiness and joy.
yes.
What was that like?
The first time I moved to Seattle, it was funny because we had been here for about 3 days, and I had accidentally cut a finger. And I went into the pharmacy to look for some bandages.
Hmm.
And I remember someone came up and went, "Oh my God, are you okay? Here, let me show you where to go." And I almost burst out into tears because that whole year and a half I was in LA, nobody really talked to me. So I was like,
Right?
"Oh my God, they interact here. Thank you." The Seattle music scene has definitely been more welcoming. More people are open to supporting one another and talking to one another, you do still get those clicks, but you try to work around them and you find, the good ones in the crop, and you move forward. Having clean air, not having to wash your car every single day, that's been nice. Um, Getting to, rub elbows with the local musicians who are always, more than willing to give advice and give tips. I've met really, really great people here. It's a wonderful place to, to really start to do your next stage if you want to push your music career.
That is awesome. And with that, with that, what advice can you give to other artists, other people in the entertainment industry that are struggling to understand what their purpose is in life? What advice can you give to people?
Well, if you're in the music industry, you're there for a reason. You want to be there. So if that's something you really want, then you got to keep it there. No matter what capacity. Again, maybe, making it to the point where you can tour and have a band, and it's a long process. It's uh, not an overnight success. One of my friends used to joke that some musicians are a 7-year overnight success, because by the time everybody hears about them, they're like, oh, they came out of nowhere. Look, they just made it. But they don't see the behind the scenes, that they've been struggling for years and years and years to get where they're going. So if that's what they really, really want, just keep at it, keep pushing, find your niche. If you can't get gigs, go to open mics, go to jam sessions, meet other musicians, go to shows, help support those musicians that are doing that, because they're going to give you the advice and the input that you're going to need to try and get to the next step. It's like you said earlier, it's all about networking. So you have to be willing to make friends, and you got to be humble.
That's the key. That's the key. Be humble. There's a lot of entitled artists. Let's put it like this: a lot of entitled artists and entertainers that feel like they don't need to network and basically rub elbows with people like us. How many of those have you encountered in your life? Because trust me, I have a laundry list of people that I.
I won't call anybody out, but too many. Um, Again, fewer here in LA. They were pretty much everywhere. I think that a lot of people feel that once they get to LA that they've somehow made it, and they have to kind of fend for themselves. And to some extent, I understand that, but yeah, there's been some. I try not to think about that part too much. When I run into those people, I kind of just smile and be like, okay, that's cool. You have your thing. I'm gonna go over here with the people who want to network and want to make friends, and you do your thing. I wish them all the best, but I don't want to be around people who aren't gonna give back and be willing to at least talk.
Right. You gotta have an open mind in this business. You can't be closed minded or small minded. And when you're closed minded and you're small minded, you're gonna be stuck. You're going to be stuck, and no one was going to be there to save you. There's no. This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You do not have a lifeline.
Hmm.
Now, you got some upcoming shows, but where has this music, now that you have moved to Seattle, where has this music taken you now? You said something about you got some national things going. What has this move to Seattle done for you and changed your life?
Well, since I've been here, again, with guidance of other people around me, I've gotten to start playing a lot more live shows. We've, in the past couple of, well, let me think, 16 months or so, we've won a handful of awards. We're actually nominated for a whole bunch others, which I would never have been able to do without other people to show me how to do that. And which is funny, because at the end of the day, the awards really don't do a whole lot, but they will open some doors for getting larger gigs, because they think that's kind of cool. um I've gotten to sign on with big records, and that has been a life changer for me. They've introduced me to people who knew how to help promote and how to push music. um International distribution. I've got a song charting right now in the UK, which is great. We've got one here that started charting in the US and is doing fairly well. And even with all that, we haven't gotten to the point where we're breaking through to mainstream radio yet. But you know what? I'm happy with how it's going, and It's really been a great experience.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you this question. What are some words that you learned today that you wish you could have told your younger self?
Um, don't listen to the negativity. I had a large gap of time where I stopped doing music and took a step back because I was told by multiple people that I wasn't good enough, that the industry would eat me alive, um, and that I was too nice of a person. And unfortunately, for a while, I listened to those people. I let them kind of batter my self confidence, and it really caused me to take several steps backwards from where I could have been at this point in time. It took a while to learn that people, when you get haters, when you get people who start to, follow you and spam you and try to do what they can to bring you down, that's actually an indication that you're on the right track. You're
Right.
starting to get somewhere and you're gaining notice. But back then I didn't know any better, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I need to take a step back and just leave it alone. And it took a dear friend and my vocal coach Michael Cagle to kind of kick me in the head and be like, you're an idiot, stop listening to these people. You have something, you love it, you do it.
That is what I would tell myself is don't listen to the negativity. What are they doing? And what are they doing right now that you're not doing? They're not doing nothing. So you just keep pushing. That is the mental thing of all of that. And I'm glad you didn't listen. You listened to the right people. Artists, basically, of course, we know this. Everyone wants to be a star. When it comes to like people who are say they're in management or they can do this and that, what is the number one thing artists need to do when encountering these people?
Be careful. Get referrals, get resources, talk to people. There are more scammers in the music industry now than ever before. So the very first thing you need to do is make sure the person is legitimate. Um, if you can confirm that and they are actually who they say they are, then you need to be open minded, you need to be flexible, and you have to be willing to work. You're going to play a lot of venues with 10, 20 people, 30 people before you can fill a 200-person room. And you can't blame management or the people who are trying to help you for that. It's a process. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to be humble and go through it. And you have to be willing to push yourself. If you are not going to invest in yourself and network and promote, then you're not going to get anywhere because it's not their job to do that for you. It's their job to open doors for you. So, yeah, just be humble and be willing to put in the work. I guess that's pretty much the main key.
That is the main key. That is the main key. Now, you want to tell the people about your upcoming performances.
Oh goodness. Well, we are going to be playing over on the coast. That's our next gig coming up. We have a couple private performances coming up, so I can't really advertise for those because they won't let others in.
Understand?
They don't always like doing that. In let's see. In August, we are going to be performing at the ISSA Awards in Atlanta.
Hmm.
In June, we're trying to organize something so we can be in Cleveland and do a show up there with some friends, local musicians. September, we're going to be. I'm sorry, November, we're at Real Art Tacoma. There's a lot going on. Your best bet is just to check out our website. It's www.brandywinemusic.com, and we have a section there for upcoming performances, and it's all listed. There's like 14 or 15 shows coming up for the duration of this year, coming up through November. So that's honestly the easiest way to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to say thank you for coming here onto the Petty Murphy Project. I might have to make some connections with you to come out to the Pacific Northwest, do some comedy. Who knows? But I'm going to definitely keep in touch. I want to thank you for coming on to the Petty Murphy Project today. And yo, keep in touch. Anytime you want to come onto the Petty Murphy Project, all you got to do is contact Kate and Gordon or contact me. I'll be more than happy to have you onto the Petty Murphy Project.
Will do, my friend. Maybe we have a new release coming out this fall, so maybe right before then, so we can tell you all about that.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And we will play that as well, everybody. So I want to thank Brandiwyne for coming on to the Petty Murphy Project. And artists, comedians, poets. If you want to get heard, you want to get your music heard, submit your interview request, your audio drop, your MP3 or WAV file to the Petty Murphy Project at gmail.com. Follow the Petty Murphy Project on Facebook at facebook.com/the Petty Murphy Project. TikTok at the Petty Murphy Project, Instagram at the Petty Murphy Project, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at the Petty Murphy Project. So for Brandiwyne and for everybody watching live on Facebook, watching YouTube, I'm Petty Murphy, and I approve this message. You have been watching the Petty Murphy Project live. We out.